real quick too that we're live, just so.
Okay, sounds good. We're live right now. So welcome everybody. Hey, this is going to be kind of Xen and I have never done this. Xen and I have never done this way before. We have basically what we're going to do today is, and we've reviewed the monthly data from the ecosystem, but we've never done this before in a slide format. And none of this was, all of these slides are created by me, and Xen I haven't got his input on anything yet. So I don't know what to, Xen, if you spot anything in the slides that looks out of alignment, I'll think and make a note and go back and do my research again and fix it. But I think you guys are going to enjoy these. I hope you enjoy them half as much as I do when I built them. It's just when you see information like wallet ads or whatever for a month, going back from August to July to June, and you see the fluctuations over time, it's impressive. And we have over 40 slides to review.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are these slides something that we're updating monthly, or some of them stay stagnant? What's going on with these slides?
I initially built them for the book that I wrote about the Grays Currencies.
Oh, so we're getting a teaser of the book too, or no?
Yes. I mean, you guys are getting not just a teaser, but everything. Practically everything that will be in the book. I just don't want to withhold information. I want to get it all out there, so you guys are getting everything.
Cool. Yeah, if the information's kind of updating, we could maybe even do this once a month or something like that, if it's relevant doing over again.
Yes. Well, literally, you will see. Like for the book, we hit it just right, because we had August last year through July of this year, which is exactly 12 months. And then just this morning, I updated the slides to include August, which we just closed out. So now we have 13 months on many of the slides. Some of the slides I'm just leaving them just July through August through July. But many of them have 13 months of information on them. It's pretty cool. So we'll just pop the first one up here and have a look at it. So this is from August 2024 through July 2025. And this is the volume and price performance for pTGC, UFO, and PLS. And many of you guys have already seen some of these slides, but we're just going to review them all, and we can spend more time on some slides than others.
So just for clarification on this one.
Sure.
Is this, because I see it's like August through July, is this just based on what the price and volume was in August 2024 and then fast forward to July 2025 month by month? Or
no, this is the price. The price in that time frame was up 1,300%, and the volume is up 900%.
So the price, that one's obvious, but the volume, are you just looking at the volume that happened in August 2024 based on the volume July 25?
Yes, I took the two. I mean, the July 25 was, much more than August of 24. And I just I divided and got a percent.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted some clarification there. So that's super awesome to see. Within a 12-month period, 1 year, we can see the price performance is obviously decently up on both pTGC and UFO. The volume is both decently up on pTGC and UFO. Volume has also increased for PLS, but price is currently down.
Yes.
So a year ago, if you went into PLS or from PLS into pTGC or UFO, you're up 9 to 13x or 10 to 14x pretty much.
Yeah.
Plus, we can see our machine growing in the last year too, volume wise, which equals value generation and APY as well.
Yeah, and we're going to see some of that APY in some of these slides.
The thing that makes me you're moving on real quick. Let's go back real quick.
Sure.
The thing that I get super excited about with this slide is I know the price of pTGC and UFO and the volume of pTGC and UFO have a huge catalyst for their success, and that's the price and volume of PulseChain.
Yeah.
So when I see PulseChain literally down in a year and the volume only up 200%, which is still not bad, but it's, it could be a lot more. Gosh, that just looks like tons of opportunity to me that we've yet to be exposed to.
Agreed.
Because I know when that PLS price increases, volume increases, activity increases, onboarding increases, it's that catalyst to the equation that we've seen glimpses of, but over long periods of times over the year, we haven't even been really exposed to yet. We're not really hitting higher floors, but pTGC and UFO tend to still be doing good without that catalyst, which is awesome to see, seeing we're not dependent on it. But gosh, I'm excited for it to come in.
Me too, man. I mean, it could get exciting any day now. I'm seeing people capitulate their bags. There was one on Twitter this morning. She's like, "I'm done." I'm like, I'm sad for her.
Is that PLS or
PLS
pTGC or crypto in general?
Yeah, I think it was. I think she referred to PLS if I remember correctly. She's like, "I got to move on." Like, whoa, okay. But for me, that's exciting for me because I think that means that we're getting that much closer.
Yeah, it's also sad, right? People have been here for 4 years, really pushing through. But you have to kind of even look at it this, like, a standard investment, 4 years, let's say it was just in a diversified investment account, 10% a year or something like that. You should be up 40%. But people who invested, let's say, large lump sums in PulseChain are currently down 60%. Like, when you look at it that way, it's really, really hard to swallow. And some people are tapping out right now. Super sad to see. I personally think we're so close to the finish line. And sometimes when you're so close to the finish line, it's so difficult. It's kind of like, this is a little too much, but it's like when you have to pee and you're driving home, and when you get into the driveway, you have to pee so much more than when you're a little bit down the street. I think people are just getting to that point. And then the door's locked and they don't have their key. So then they're like stressing out,
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
I wonder why my logo's not popping up on my. Do you see my logo on my?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Here's the next slide. Market cap performance. pTGC up 1,200%, UFO up 780%, and then the cores with EEC down 10%. I'm not mocking the cores or Richard Hart's products at all. We're just, it is what it is, guys. We love his products. Hi, SC. Good to see you. Any comment on this one?
Yeah, no PLS.
Let's see. Yeah, no PLS. That is a detail that I left out.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think you kind of showed that in the last one.
Yeah, maybe.
Price performance is pretty much market cap, roughly, give or take a little bit based on if it's inflationary or not, or deflationary. But I think it's pretty flat, right? I think it's pretty much flat. So you can kind of see there that, over the last year, at least PulseX is up a little bit, eHex is up a little bit, Hex is up a little bit, Ink's down a little bit. I think Pulse is down a little bit too. pTGC and UFO are all obviously up quite a bit. I think PulseX and Hex are a hard one, right? Like, I look at PulseX as sustainability-wise and natural growth and mechanical growth has all the features I look for as far as a product goes, even, very similar to pTGC and UFO in that way. I love seeing mechanical features to help with price appreciation that the community can lean on through the tough times, right? This is something I think that stands out with pTGC and UFO, because markets are very difficult. They're very volatile. There's euphoric times, there's depressing times. This goes for any asset. This went for Bitcoin through multiple cycles, Ethereum for multiple cycles. It's very difficult. But when assets have mechanical features that help get that community through those tough times, I think it makes it super powerful. I think it makes it more sustainable. I think it makes it give more sustainable growth. PulseX has this, in my opinion. pTGC, UFO has this, in my opinion. But the one thing about Hex is I know it's Richard's baby.
Yes. Hex is Richard's baby.
I really think if there's one that he lets shine in the short term this cycle, I think PulseX has the features that really we are looking for as far as like long-term investors. And pTGC and UFO, due to their deflation, APY written within code, etc. Short term, I can see Richard really like getting some eyeballs on Hex.
Yeah. Yeah. And so all of these slides are up for comments. I was telling Xen before the stream, like just one guy with 2 eyeballs and a brain to put these together. So I thank you for, I want more feedback if you see anything else.
Yeah, that wasn't even anything wrong with them. I'm more just talking about them, you know.
Yeah. Well, PLS needs to be on that slide.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That comment.
Yeah.
But it's super cool. Yeah, I love seeing the growth of our assets over the last year along with those assets. Super excited to see those assets grow more than that throughout a year, because that's going to be value coming over into the chain, more value for us to work with, which would be awesome.
Yes. So there's the value of pTGC, UFO, and the cores in USD. And again, PLS is missing. After this stream, I'll probably realize why I didn't include PLS, but whatever. We have 3 of them, and you can see pTGC and UFO are performing magnificently against the cores, and you can imagine, PLS isn't going to be. It's going to be down there with the cores, and that's of course in USD. This next slide is with them is pTGC and UFO. And its performance against the cores in PLS for the last year. Okay.
Yeah, just a small comment. The pTGC one is kind of hard to see. I think it is a little bit like see-through or something like that.
Yep, agreed. It's 2,500%.
Oh, cool.
Yep, I'll fix it. I'm learning a lot about Canva. And some of the things I just haven't figured out how to do yet. Here's pTGC and WPLS and USD, a graph from November 2023 through August 2025. WPLS is in purple.
Are you showing something else now? I don't see it.
Yes, it's on my screen. You should be able to see it.
Right now, I'm just seeing the leaving others in the space dust.
Oh, there must be a delay. Let me remove it and then add it.
Maybe try flipping the screen a little bit more. Like go back and forth maybe a few times.
I think what's happening is if you're watching on YouTube, there's a delay on YouTube.
No, I'm not on YouTube. I'm on the what's it called, where we stream from StreamYard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sharing the screen. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I can do different that would perhaps make the slide visible for you.
You want me to hop back out and then hop back in?
That might work. And in the meantime, I'll ask, guys, can you guys see my screen? Let me know if you can't see that chart that I have popped up. Let me know if you can't see it, please. Or if you can see it, I'd appreciate it. Okay, meaning you can see the screen. I'm sure it was cool. Thank you guys very much. We'll just wait for Xen to jump back in. All right, thanks, James. William Diggin, you are very much welcome. Appreciate all you do, Xen and Banana. Our time is coming. Yeah, man. PulseChain will win. We're excited, man. And hey, Linda, it's good to see you. Maybe our comms are being slow. I think that Xen is having some issues on his side because he hasn't jumped in yet. I'm watching for a message from him on Telegram. James, I have been in contact with Tiger Crypto God. He's a buddy of mine. We chat on Twitter rather frequently. So I think we're hooked up. But let me know if I'm missing something. Welcome back, Xen.
Yeah, I see something else now. So I think that fixed it.
Okay. This is PTGC and WPLS and USD from November 2023 through August 2025.
Is kind of the left column X's?
I
think so.
Yes. No, it's priced in, like the purple is PTGC priced in WPLS. You know, we topped out at about 20, that top line. And then the green is in USD. And when you're building these graphs, sometimes you have to add zeros or take away zeros from the number just so that the graph will be similarly graphed. Otherwise, one like if you use a huge number for one metric and a smaller number for the other one, the graph will be such a difference that you can't see the similarities. So this one is UFO in WPLS and USD. WPLS in the purple. Can you see that one, Xen?
Yeah, I see it. I'm trying to figure out, because I see the left column is obviously the PLS terms, but what is the USD's column that it's working off of?
That is a good question. One of the things in building these slides, just so you know, Xen, is that in order to have the day, I don't even need that 8. You see on the left there, that 8642. I don't need that to present.
Well, I think that's the PLS. So you can, because UFO on the previous slide, pTGC got close to the 22 PLS is the all-time high. And I saw the chart in PLS get to that. And then on this one, we know that we got close to the 2 mark for UFO against PLS. But I don't know what the green, the USD one, is going to.
Right. Yeah, that's a fair point. In order to have the dates at the bottom, I have to have those numbers on the left. If I eliminate the dates, or if I eliminate the numbers, then the dates also disappear. There's definitely some work that can be done on this slide. But you can see.
I think it works out good, though. I think just whatever number the green is getting to, USD, maybe put on the right side. Because what is it landing at? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's not landing at 8 because 8's the PLS number.
Right. The point of the slide is that you can see them tracking together, the WPLS and USD.
Mm-hmm.
This is pTGC and USD and PLS volume. pTGC price is the bright yellow. pTGC volume is the light yellow, and then PLS volume in the purple.
Yeah, that's super cool too. You can see them tracking together. As PLS increased, you can see the natural increase of pTGC and UFO, with them both really spiking on that second increase in volume around February.
Yep. When I built the slide today, when I updated it, that convergence, see over there in August, they're converging. And I thought that was interesting. Not that it means anything. I was just like, ooh, this is cool. They're all at the same spot on the chart. And Swift Ace, I see you're commenting in the chat. I look forward to it. Okay, let's go to the next slide. UFO, and then this is UFO in USD and PLS volume. So this is the same chart, just UFO.
Yeah, super cool. Also very correlated.
Yeah. And then pTGC ratio and price. The pTGC to PLS ratio in the green and price in the yellow. You know, our ratio dropped a bit in August. Sadly, that's one of my favorite metrics. But the price increased.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, I feel like there can be situations where price is going up, price can start going up a lot, and the ratio could still drop a little bit, which is sometimes the case, right? Like if PLS has a very large amount of momentum going to it, and pTGC doesn't have a lot, like everything kind of has ebb and flows, we could get tons of price appreciation with still dropping a little bit in ratios. But also there's the other way where PLS's price goes a little stagnant and we really increase the ratio as well. And I feel like those are always ebbing and flowing with each other. Sometimes PLS will go on a nice run and our ratio will stay stagnant or even come down a little bit because so much attention's on the PLS. But then PLS will kind of level out in price, but then our ratio will start to increase, or, you know, and stuff like that.
Yes. And just so you know, and everybody else knows, like when I'm talking about the price for August, for example, or the ratio for August, I'm setting Dex Screener to the monthly and just shooting the middle and getting the average. So if anybody wonders where I'm getting those numbers, that's how I'm doing it for the average for the month. But this is long-term thinking. You know, we're tracking this data with a long-term mindset. This is not daily tracking. So I think that's a fair way to do it. Here is the UFO ratio and price. UFO PLS ratio in the light green and UFO price in the dark green.
Yeah, the UFO has so much less human interaction to it, and it is very much more mechanical interaction, way more bonded with Richard's tickers, and you can see that on this chart. You can see it moving with the assets that it's bonded to so much more.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, right? Like, I think that's why UFO is such a sleeper, in my opinion. You can see on chain where even when there's sell-offs on chain, like where PLS is going down, you can actually see the only reason UFO is going down is not because anyone's actually also selling UFO for the most part, but just because of the bonded assets coming down.
Okay.
And usually you're supposed to see a lot of both, right? When PLS starts going down, that's because people are leaving PLS in general, and it would be naive to think that people would only be leaving PLS. That's not the case. The case is they're also leaving some of their alts, which pTGC, UFO, Hex, PulseX, Inc., MOS, PDI, they all fall under that category. And that's why when prices start coming down in PLS, usually the alts go down more because they get the downtrend from the dog, the PLS, but then they also have their own unique amount of value leaving them too. So this is completely normal. This is also why when value starts coming in, usually those alts pump even harder because they get the pump from PLS plus whatever value wants to make its way to the alts. So it's amplified in both directions a lot of the time for the sustainable long-term projects, not dying projects and stuff like that. But what I can see in that chart you're showing me with UFO is even though money was leaving the chain, there wasn't a lot of money leaving UFO at all. The people within that are really holding strong.
Yes, they are. Yeah, so we're down 10 slides. We have 32 to go. Here's the next one. And James White, I see your comment. I screenshotted that. I'll reach out to Tiger. pTGC total fee distribution in dollars. And this is one where I have the dollar amount hidden to the left of that screen. This is just to illustrate the, if I had this on another screen, I could actually with my mouse hover over those circle, the dots, and it'll show you the dollar amounts. But with this illustration, we're just seeing just the sine wave. So you can't, I mean, the actual dollar amounts, I could actually plug them in there. Actually, I could do that. And then the next one will be UFO. From December 2024 through August. pTGC tokens available for purchase. This one, I'm getting the numbers from the website, the stats page of PulseTGC.com. And this slide I'm going to be updating.
Yeah, this slide's super cool. Just seeing the decrease in available tokens throughout the last year. If adoption comes to PulseChain, if adoption comes to it more in crypto in general, there's just not a lot of tokens for purchase within pTGC. If the holders of pTGC, holders of UFO really value these tokens long term and are not willing to let these go, even if prices hit some crazy numbers, it will really create a lot of supply shock on pTGC. Just like any valuable good that people are just not willing to let go of, it makes the supply super scarce, which makes the available supply worth a ton of money, right? When there's shortages of any good, right now you can kind of see that looks like there's a shortage of pTGC about to happen. It makes the product worth way more than the standard price.
Yep.
And demand is usually the catalyst to that, right? Like you can start decreasing the supply of something. Like there could be lack of supply, for an example, COVID, right? Lack of supply of toilet paper. There's a set supply. All the stores had their supply, but the demand came in a matter of weeks, right? This kind of is like a bull market. When retail flows into crypto and there's only so much supply on the shelf, well, the average price just goes really quick, like where we are right now. And then it starts, leaving the overpriced items, and even stores start marking up the prices just to slow down the buying. This is just supply and demand principles, economics 101. We are controlling the supply so heavily right now within pTGC due to the deflationary tokenomics, due to the fact that we give incentives for holders to hold. They even earn an APY for doing so, even more incentive, etc. But if that demand comes in and actually wants to be exposed to this product, marketing that Richard's doing literally as we speak, there's just not enough tokens for them.
Yeah. Yep. Which drives up the price.
Yep.
That
chart shows it, right? That chart shows it so obvious. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. It's nice to have somebody else's input on these slides, let me tell you, because this has just been all me. Here's pTGC and UFO percent of PulseChain volume. I love this one. I love it. And you can see the percentages over on the left. pTGC is in the yellow, UFO in the green. If you look at August 2025 over on the left, pTGC was, about 1% of PulseChain volume, and UFO was, maybe not a quarter of a percent really. And then you can see the fluctuations for the following 12 months.
Yeah, that's awesome. January, February was our all-time highs. Those obviously were the highs of us taking over the volume, so that you can actually see we had a majority of the volume, or not a majority, but our highest percentages of on-chain volume were also when we were at all-time highs, which makes sense.
And what do you notice about what happened in January? Do you notice anything?
It came down from there, just like price came down from there.
It looks like UFO was burning a lot more supply at that time. Well, pTGC was burning more supply also, but then UFO was just tracking right there with it. You see, from March through January, both of them increased in in their volume.
Yeah, so one thing I'm seeing that I'm a little confused on is I know pTGC's volume average is higher than UFO's. Is the pTGC and UFO volume stacked on top of each other?
Yes.
Or not overlaid, right?
Yeah, they're separate.
Okay, yep, I get it now. So you're adding them together to get that overall 2%, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I get it.
Yeah. So, and that's what is really exciting. Thank you for breaking that out. Is that, look, in January, the Grays Currencies was almost 2.5% of the entire volume on PulseChain.
Mm-hmm.
Our little ecosystem, 2.5% of the volume.
Yeah, with our system uniquely being a system that actually generates revenue off of that volume, which is been done before in specific tokens, but being able to do that from the volume based on the chain moving up and down, very similar to PulseX. This is a first cycle idea, right? This has never been done before. It's yet to be like expanded or revalued in a way by the blockchain we're built on to be actually showcased to mainstream crypto and mainstream, like, just more retail investors. But I do believe when PulseChain revalues, when this machine kind of goes to that next stage, what this system is actually doing, this idea of what pTGC and UFO are, is what the majority of investors are actually looking for in a product. They just don't know it exists yet. They don't even really know PulseChain exists yet. Let's be honest.
You know what's exciting to me and tantalizing is to wonder how much, as we track this, as we go into this cycle, how much of PulseChain's volume is going to be comprised of pTGC and UFO. I mean, are we gonna gain 5%, 10%? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that depends on our individual success. So do we keep gaining traction on chain? That's what I hope happens. Obviously, that's what all of us hope happens, is that we just keep gaining more and more traction. Does other LP pools on chain shrink in comparison to price appreciation as they move up? Like, are people pulling liquidity and exiting while we're adding? Because every transaction that happens within our protocol adds to LP, adds to LP, adds to LP. So our LP is growing with every single transaction. But a lot of times, as other things go up, some people start to pull LP because that's, their profit taking. That's where they're, taking some profits and stuff. And then also the success of the things we are bonded with. The more success that the things we are bonded with is going to route more volume through our system. If other things that we don't actually have within our index become successful on chain, well then obviously we'd probably get less percentage of the overall volume. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what we got to hope for, fingers crossed, is we're successful. We keep getting adoption. Our adoption keeps growing. Our liquidity keeps growing faster than other products, along with the success of the things we're bonded with, right? We're hoping for the success of the things that we have connected LP with, because it literally just makes us that much more successful.
Yep. Okay, these slides are going to be better next month. I just noticed that all of those are backwards.
Yeah, they're backwards. Yeah, I had to catch myself on that.
I'll fix it. How pTGC is burned, and this one is another. I screenshotted this and sent it to you a couple weeks ago because it blew my mind. I'm like, what? I've always wondered this, but now here it is in a slide. So how is pTGC burned? Well, it's burned basically three different ways: by the protocol itself, by UFO, and other, which can be DAO burns or other protocols. So burned by
pretty much DAO.
Yeah. Burned by pTGC is in yellow. Burned by UFO is in the green, and by other in the green. And we know that in April and May, we've been making a lot of DAO buying burns. Am I wrong? Let me know, man.
No, you're right. You can see it right there in the chart.
And it's reflected right there in the chart. There's proof in the pudding, man. We have been burning tokens.
Yeah, look at November, December last year when market of PulseChain started to ramp up, where UFO really ramped up at this time because mechanically it thrives off of the success of Richard's tickers, and you can see it just turning on and buying and burning so much more pTGC during those periods.
Yep. UFO, just if you guys weren't here, UFO had a pretty sizable run up last fall, like November through December. And that's why you see the big green candles there of UFO burning pTGC. Okay, UFO tokens burned. Now, I'll be the first to admit you can't read those numbers very well, but I just have to figure out how to make them bigger without making it a manual thing for me, which is how I was doing it. But what you can see is the change over time. UFO tokens burned from August through, and this one's reversed too. Yeah, so we'll just move on. I'll fix it. These slides should look a little bit better next month when we do this at the beginning of October. Now here is, and guys, this is where you can take a screenshot of this. I mean, if you're interested, because this is reflections, staking, and locking rewards per 100 million tokens from August 24 through August 25. But I did not start tracking anything locking until January.
This chart's sweet.
The reflections in yellow, staking in blue, locking in green.
Yeah, this is a super cool chart.
I agree. We had a lot of unlocks in March and April, and then they tapered off. And June and July was really light. And then we had, just recently somebody made a mistake, and that's why that contributed to that 115 million tokens earned per 100 million tokens locked in a 10-year lock. That's how it works. This would be in a 10-year lock. So if you're in a 90-day locks, just multiply that times 0.55.
Yeah, definitely sad that someone made that mistake, but interesting as well. The locking rewards were more than the staking and holding rewards last month.
Yes, that is a good point. I hadn't noticed that. pTGC liquidity from August through August. UFO liquidity. How much pTGC was unlocked?
Hey, can we go back a little bit? My bad.
No worries.
So one thing, and maybe we want to look at the pTGC one too. One thing I find interesting about this chart, both of these charts, is we know PLS's price is pretty similar August to August, right? Like it was down a little bit, but very flat in general.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But we can see the liquidity being a lot higher.
Oh, that is true.
And the liquidity increases by the price of the assets that were bonded to increasing.
Right.
By our price increasing, right, which makes sense. pTGC's up, UFO's up, but also what we add as well. So obviously the majority of that is from our price appreciation against PLS. But we can see on this chart, the amount of liquidity that's actually backing our system is quite a bit larger than what was there last year, which this helps our system thrive. This shows our system's growing.
It's probably an 8x. Well, you can see the numbers right there, 748,000. That's probably more like 7.48 million. Okay. I had to, like I said, I had to fudge some of the not fudge them. No, I think that's probably accurate.
No, I think that's right. Yeah.
Versus, so let's just do a little math. 6,650, 740 divided by 748,000 is 8.9x in liquidity.
Which is very similar to what our price increased to. Pay attention to this, though. This is interesting.
Okay.
Is
Tell me.
When your price increases from your token going up, or when your price increases from your token going up against the blockchain, you actually run from your liquidity quite a bit. So your price goes up faster in X's than your liquidity goes up. When you get X's from the assets you're bonded to going up, so let me put it this way. If we do a 10X this year, but PulseChain's flat, we will spread ourselves from our liquidity. Our price will go up 10X, but our liquidity would only be up like 4X. But if we do a 10X because PulseChain goes up 10X, right, just being bonded with it, our price would go up 10X and our liquidity will go up 10X, which makes X's that are from the blockchain moving up a lot more sustainable because your liquidity moves up evenly with it. Our liquidity with pTGC moved up more evenly than it should have because we've been adding to it,
right?
Which makes the growth more sustainable than most other systems out there after they run against the blockchain.
Very interesting. Let's answer Ricky Ray's question. When you lock your pTGC for 90 days, is the penalty for withdrawing on the pTGC earned? I don't follow that, or the entire amount. When you claim your rewards, you pay 45%. Well, not you don't pay, but 45% of the rewards go to the dead address, and you keep 55% for a 90-day lock. And once your 90 days is up, there is no penalty for ending your lock, but there is a 1% fee that you pay for ending the stake, which goes to all the other stakers.
Yeah, and then really quick for Ricky, when you fulfill your 90 days, you can just remain in the lock and continue to earn your APY from people unlocking, but you will always still only get the 55% of the 100% fee or claimable reward when you're claiming. So even if you're 90 days and you're in the system for 5 years, just because you stayed to a tier 5 doesn't mean you earn a tier 5 percentage. You will still continue just to earn your tier 1 55%, which is still awesome because you're now in a liquid lock. You have no obligations to the code. The people who are out 5 years, who did make the decision to lock for 5 years, they are obligated to the code to remain there. So they took a higher risk. So they get the reward of additional percentage. But you do not need to close it down. You'll continue to earn APY.
Right. So just glance at this. Do you see what's on the screen? He says, if I lock $1 million, would the penalty affect the 1 million or just the amount earned? Let's make sure we answered that one.
So if he unlocks early, like if he locked for 90 days and let's say he only fulfills 50 of the days, the penalty is to the full 1 million. So he would lose 30% of his 1 million if he unlocks early. But what I think he's asking is, when he claims, does he have a penalty there? It's not a penalty. It's just that you're just receiving 55%. So rewind, when you're locked and you lock 1 million, if you fulfill your time, there is no penalty to that 1 million. Only a penalty to the reward that you receive. And it's not really a penalty. It's just the tier you're in. You're in the 55% tier. But your initial does not get deducted if you fulfill your time lock.
Right.
Your initial 1 million, when you fulfill your time, your 90 days, you can unlock and you'll get that entire amount back. Yep. I think that was his question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He says he's got it. 20. We're at slide 20 of 42. Just so you know.
Okay. I'll stop talking about him as much.
No, it's okay. It's good. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. Like, how far along are we on in this? So this one is how much pTGC was unlocked early. And we kind of just touched on that, but there it is in a graph. And it was 500, like in August, it was 536 million pTGC unlocked early.
Yeah, I'm interested to see when PulseChain starts moving again, where everything becomes really active, if the early unlocks pick up again, or if people are
Right.
locking and then unlocking when they are up X's. Because I know that last column is from that mistake, which people probably make mistakes forever. You know, people make mistakes all the time interacting with smart contracts. But I'm definitely interested to see if the unlocks increase when prices start to increase again, because they've been decreasing with price decrease and they were increasing with price increase. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if you look at February and March, when price was running up, March was 669 million, but there was a lot of stuff going on in another ecosystem, which has since died off in March, and people were nuking their locks.
Yeah.
Big time. So
yeah, crypto brings a lot of fear. I think even we're in like kind of a fear situation right now. And the lock is meant to be there to kind of keep people away from their emotions. Like, hey, if you think when you got into this protocol, you could see yourself being within this protocol for 5-10 years, which in crypto, I think sounds a little difficult at times. But as far as like standard investing, that's nothing, right? Like a lot of people invest in real life for 20, 30, 40 years to create financial freedom for their future. Crypto has only been out for a very short amount of time. The people who have actually gotten into the right products and stayed for a while have done extremely well.
yes.
And that's what I kind of, think about with the locking system. Why the locking system was there is, hey, we actually believe the ability pTGC and UFO have, the utility, the community, the features it offers is one of those products that will be the needle in the haystack, the ones that are successful multi-cycle. The best thing you can do is hold on to your tokens long term, or a portion of your tokens long term, and let those actually revalue. Very similar to the people who found ETH early, found Bitcoin early, and not only blockchains, right? Like other amazing systems early, Chainlink. We believe pTGC and UFO have a utility that is going to be very, very successful for its holders, which obviously onboards more. So we want people to have features within code that help them protect themselves from their worst enemy, themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Then Paul Sachs echoes. He says low volume unlocks seem to coordinate with price floors. So I mean, the antithesis makes sense too to me, which I had a hard time understanding for a while. But now I'm on board with the thought that as price goes up, we're going to see more unlocks. And by the way, the average last year was 400 million in any given 30-day period, and now we've seen that average is I think it's down from where it was last year. But
yeah, I think price, because quantity of tokens definitely is going to decrease because quantity of tokens are getting really expensive. But dollar value at the time of creating the locks, I think, is going to increase as we carry into the bull market. So I think there is, as new users come to pTGC, come to PulseChain, they're going to see the value in the product that's here. Definitely if they're here for more long-term investing, not 1 week flips, 2 week flips. I think people are going to put a portion of their value in either a locking ladder or, not necessarily a ladder, but multiple locks just for security and safety, and in case they need a portion of it. There is very smart, educated ways to create locks. We've been able to study the system for a long time now. So I think we'll have a lot of new people to educate on this system. And now that we've been able to see other successful products out there in crypto and being able to showcase like, hey, if you do find the right product, the best thing you can do is remain in that product long term. Anywhere people took their money out of Bitcoin and Ethereum into other investments besides like the next big cryptocurrency or like a really successful business, but just standard investing, has been a loss for them. They were better off just keeping all their value in Bitcoin or ETH, right?
Yeah. Agreed. So this next slide. So this slide should be grouped with the other ones, like at the beginning of this presentation. So that's just another adjustment I'll make. But so this is pTGC performance in core asset terms. So the pTGC WPLS pair, is up 2,850%. pTGC PulseX up 1,800%, and that's over the last year.
Cool.
And then,
so it's outperformed in the last year every single RH core.
Yes. And same for UFO. I'll let you guys gaze at that.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys, I think at this point that Bananas pulled a lot of data off. UFO was out for like 3 months at this point, and pTGC was at like 10 months, 11 months. So it's not like we're picking the day pTGC launched or the week pTGC launched or the week pTGC or UFO launched. These are a few solid months after the launch of these products and still being able to outperform.
That is true. That is, this is from August, because UFO launched in May. So you've got May, June, July, 3 months of solid performance being out in the market. You had the first run up and then the crash. Not really so much.
Yeah,
but
the consolidation period, right? You have that hype cycle when people first want to FOMO in, and then it kind of draws down, and then there's a washing event going on to where some new users are coming in saying, hey, I think this product is going to last the test of time. And then some of the old people that just got in for that initial run up are getting out. This happens with pretty much every single token. What matters is if you can push out of that zone, because most products never push out of that zone. They just kind of die down forever.
Yeah. And here's the liquidity with pTGC and the gold at the top. pTGC, then UFO, and then the combined both with RH cores in the yellow and other in the green. So pTGC has $5.7 million in LP with RH cores. UFO has $8 million in LP with RH cores. And then there's their total. And this was a few weeks ago. pTGC total of $10 million in LP and UFO $15 million in LP. So combined $25 million in LP.
Yeah, this is a super cool chart showing how much liquidity is actually with Richard's cores, especially when you know that those cores haven't increased at all in the last year. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the assets in the liquidity web that naturally become the biggest are the best performing, this is what we want, right? So like the pTGC and UFO LP pool, what it is today is not what it was when it was created. And it's actually turned into somewhat of a large pool because of the price appreciation of both pTGC and UFO together. But then the other LP pools have been pretty stagnant. They've like gone nowhere. So that's why that LP pool has increased to be so much larger, making, the size of LP we have with non-cores that much bigger. But the fact that we still are able to withhold the majority of our liquidity with RH cores without those actually having any really good price performance shows how many cores we actually have.
Right.
Because this goes for like our other non-RH tokens, like the one I always used to refer to as pDAI. pDAI, we didn't have like a crazy amount of LP with it. It was the fact that we LP'd with it so early that it turned into a pretty massive LP pool at its highs, right? And it's still up from when we created it. So, and you have to look at it. Okay, that LP pool might be up 5x. I don't know exactly when we created it, but the other LP pools that we have are up nothing. PLS is currently down from the price that we even launched pTGC and UFO at. So I'm beyond excited to not only see the sub assets that we're connected to increase, but also, the major ones that we've spent a lot of time adding to that we believe will have great sustainability on this chain, the RH tokens.
Yes. JP wants us to explain how it works for UFO with the $8 million in liquidity. UFO liquidity is provided by the users. pTGCs is all, it's all excuse me, is protocol. Is that the correct term? Protocol owned?
Protocol owned or burnt, right? The majority of all of the pTGC liquidity is actually burned, with a small portion, or a portion, maybe not small, a portion of it being protocol owned, the more risky assets that we might need to close down in the future at the peak of this bull run. Maybe rotate some of those LPs over to stable coins, stuff like that. This is just smart to do. But we do have a very large percentage of them burned, especially the ones with the RH cores, showing our community like, hey, this liquidity is never going to go anywhere. It won't even rotate into stables. It will be here for the community. A very large amount of money too.
Yes. Vishal asks, he says, I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. Thank you. What would you say to the folks who are a bit apprehensive of staking after all that has transpired with Hex? I would say that when it comes to staking the Grays currencies, and you can only stake pTGC, not UFO, but your yield is available to you at any time. You can claim your yield without ending your stake. And then there's no time commitment with staking. There is with locking, but you can stake with no time commitment. You can stake your tokens, claim your yield every day if you want, and just leave that stake indefinitely.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think just kind of redigging into that. I'm someone who studied Hex a lot in the design of pTGC and UFO. The staking features of pTGC and UFO or not UFO, sorry. The staking features within pTGC are a lot different than Hex. The locking features of pTGC are a lot more similar, but still have a lot of different features. When you stake your pTGC, there is no time commitments. You don't have to say, hey, I'm going to have this stake for 5 years. I'm going to have this stake for 10 years. The only commitment you have on your pTGC stakes is when you close it down, you pay the protocol, which goes to all of the other stakers, 1% of your bag. That's the only commitment. You can stay for 1 day. You can stay for 30 years. It's still always only going to be 1%. Also, keep in mind the APY that you receive within pTGC is claimable to your wallet at any time. You do not have to wait to close the stake down. You don't have to wait to fulfill a time period. If you have $1,000 in claimable rewards, you can get those rewards at any point. In Hex, you have to wait until your time is 100% completed. Let's say it's 5 years. That's when you get your APY. You can lock your stake tokens in the pTGC system, which is more similar to Hex, where you're making a time commitment. But keep in mind, with our time commitments, your rewards are still claimable at any time. So even though you might have put your initial out, let's say you went 10 years, right? With our system, your rewards are claimable at any point. You do not have to wait 10 years to access the APY, which for our system, I like this design personally because it makes it feel like, okay, I've put out my initial, I've put out a large amount of money into the future, but this investment is paying me a passive income monthly, yearly, however you like to access your money. Also, when you stake in the pTGC system, tokens remain in your wallet at all times. You're not giving up your tokens to a smart contract somewhere. They remain in your wallet. So those are just a couple of the differences. I 100% get what you mean. Some people don't want to stake at all anyways. With pTGC, you still earn APY just for holding. The APY isn't as good. You get 150% more APY if you stake and even more if you lock, but you still do earn just for holding the asset. It does have APY built into the code.
Yep.
UFO, same way. You don't need to do anything with it. You can just buy UFO, and more UFO will drip into your wallet. You don't need to stake. You don't need to nothing. You can just hold it.
All right, this slide, don't ask me to explain it, but it's our biggest LPs between pTGC and UFO. It's open to interpretation if you want to comment on it. Sometimes I have brainstorms and they end up in something like this, and then later on I'm like, what was going on in your head when you made that?
So this is showing the top 3 biggest LPs. Obviously, I was just talking about this. The pTGC and UFO LP is the biggest. It is the biggest because for two reasons. One, the UFO farm. So people are actually getting paid PLS for putting their pTGC and UFO into an LP pool together.
Yes.
There is a fee for doing so. So the people who are doing this is paying the fee with both their pTGC and UFO for providing LP here, but they are earning PLS rewards. They might be just considering those tokens as a passive income source for the rest of their life, and now they're earning PLS forever. Keep in mind the reason this LP pool got so big, I was just talking about this, is because pTGC and UFO have actually increased in price in the last year and a half, where the PLS pool or the Hex pool have PLS hasn't increased in price, Hex has increased in price a very small amount. So as those assets start to increase, it should start to catch up in percentage wise of the LP pool. If it doesn't, still awesome. We want our biggest LP pools to be the best performing assets, right? So by the best performing assets being our own tokens, it helps us be more sustainable.
There you have it, guys. Here's the dolphin position costs over time from August through August for pTGC. And in my opinion, it's on sale right now. Dolphin position can cost you about $12,000 in pTGC. UFO over time from August to August. Dolphin position costing $3,200 right now.
Which, in my opinion, is really, really cheap. I think there's currently a good discount with both pTGC and UFO against PLS. So we're currently at a discount against the native token just because value's been leaving the chain for a while now. People are getting exhausted. No real new money's coming in. But there's also a discount in dollar value in general. And that's where I see a true discount, like a really big discount, is with dollar value. If you're swapping your PLS you've had here for a while, there is an extreme discount right now, but I think where the real discount is if you are someone who has still your job or still dry powder or still working or still want to DCA a little bit more into PulseChain when we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Huge opportunity with both pTGC and UFO. If you're looking to onboard someone new, huge opportunity with both pTGC and UFO. The users getting in today are getting in at better prices than people got in 4 years ago into the Richard tickers, which we're directly connected with. And we're getting to the point where the light is actually at the end of the tunnel. So you're getting a better price and you don't have to wait 4 years. Huge opportunity, in my opinion. I think there is still risk, right? There is the risk of, this chain kind of just dying out. But where the risk to reward ratio is right now on PulseChain, in my opinion, especially for a new user who maybe can't wait 4 years, like now's the time. Marketing's about to start. The last phase of the bull cycle is about to start. New devices going out, SAC funds at all-time highs, discounts on pTGC and UFO right in front of our face, DAO building up funds, waiting for this next big push. It's, in my opinion, if you're looking for opportunities to enter into pTGC and UFO, there's currently discounts on dolphin positions, shark positions, shrimp positions, whatever you can afford or your friends and family can afford, or people you talk with on Twitter.
Yeah, a just in case bag, 1 million pTGC mandatory for everybody on PulseChain, especially if you hold cores, Hex, eHex, PulseX, Inc. You got to have a just in case bag of pTGC. That's 1 million. And then UFO, perhaps that's a 10 million token bag. Vishal Patel, sorry, this sounds like a no-brainer. What are you missing? You're not missing anything. So why wouldn't you stake versus hold it? I stake all of my pTGC because the ROI time I estimate in a sideways market to be about, I think it's somewhere between 100 and 200 days. It's very difficult to pin down. So I just stake all of mine. The only consequence is 1% of your principal when you end your stake. But, with an ROI time of 100 to 200 days, even right now, it might be a opportune time in the cycle to stake pTGC, especially when we know that what's coming is probably volume and price appreciation. So you're going to ROI even faster, because those are the two factors that go into your ROI, is volume and price appreciation.
Yeah, really the only reason I see not to stake, and anyone could do whatever they want, is if you're someone who's getting into a protocol just trying to run a pump for a month and then get out, right? There
you go.
That's really, which some people do that, right? But the pTGC and UFO system has been specifically structured to really reward the long-term believers in the system. It has already rewarded long-term believers. They want people to stake. The fee to exit is very, very low. People staking helps them remain in the system longer, gives them more time to educate themselves and actually find value about why they're here and why they like the product. But the people who are trading, right, like right now, there's a dip. There's people who could probably take advantage of this dip, run it for a month, be up, take initials out, take everything out. Like, that's just traders for you. But the nice thing about this system, there's traders in everything, but most of the time the traders don't leave anything behind to make the foundation stronger for the community members who actually want to be in the system long term. Even a trader that gets into pTGC and UFO have to make the foundation stronger for the future generation and the future holders of the ecosystem.
Yep. So here are the new wallets for pTGC. We added 522 new wallets last month. And our all-time high since I've been recording this, mind you, was January of this year at 1,434. That was a big month, man.
Yeah, these numbers tell me that when money was flowing into PulseChain, when PLS was increasing, you can actually see our holder count increasing, because that means there's new value flowing into PulseChain, there's new users flowing into PulseChain, and people want to be exposed to this product. I strongly stand behind the fact that I believe people are looking for this product. They just don't know it exists yet. But if they find out about PulseChain, and if they get on the PulseChain, they will be exposed to this product. I bet a lot of them will want to hold pTGC and UFO. So as PLS increases, I'm betting, I think the holder count is going to increase massively.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's going to increase. I think I want to break that all-time record of 1,434. And perhaps we'll do it before the end of this year. There's UFO, new wallets. We added 1,000. Our all-time high was 1,055 in November. I remember that. And we added 84 in August. It's just been real quiet.
Yeah, UFO has been quiet. I don't think it's getting as much adoption from human users as pTGC right now, just because it's not the main ship. There's lack of money on chain right now. People only have so much money. But what we found in the past, when PLS started moving up, UFO really stood out as far as a great product on PulseChain, and it was taking in a lot of holders when its utility, its ability really started to shine. I think that's going to happen again here shortly.
Yep. Now here's a 12-month snapshot. So you have August of last year in the yellow, July, which is last month, in the green. So this one is, ended in July. We'll just update this one perhaps for October. But you have your price in August of 24, the average price, just going to the chart like I described and getting the average of 0.4037. And then in July is 0.3045. And then you have your volume, very similar, $900,000 in volume in August. Total volume in July was 8.5 million. And then reflections per 100 million. This is interesting, Xen. I want your comment on this. In August 2024, the reflections were 126,400 for every 100 million held. And in July, it was 67,300, which we know just because as price goes up, you're going to earn the same value in theory, but in less tokens. So earned less tokens, but look, the value of those tokens was more at $30.70 versus $4.90.
Yeah, I think that's why I've been I think you too, right? We've made it such a priority of ours to educate people on what this system is at these discounted prices, right? You can see there right in that chart that the reflections that people were receiving a year ago in quantity of tokens were so much more than quantity of tokens today, even though volume is so much higher and the dollar value of what they received is higher as well. But by getting into the system, earning the reflections and the staking rewards at the cheap prices, especially if you're compounding those in and not using them as APY, delaying your gratification, which isn't necessary. You can use it as, passive income and to take and buy coffees or whatever. But being early to a system like this is, in my opinion, very, very important if you're trying to acquire a decent sized position for relatively cheap. If you're trying to get a decent APY in the future for something relatively cheap. Let's say pTGC and UFO do 10% APY, right? And you get in at it's 10% APY in the future at the new prices, right? Not from when you got in, which would be amazing. I don't know if it'll be there or not. It really depends on volume, volatility, etc. But if you get in with $10,000 today and pTGC does 100x, now you're sitting on $1 million. If the system is paying you 10% APY, you're making $100,000 yearly in a hyperdeflationary asset that you paid $10,000 for. And
Right.
you're earning APY the whole way up.
Yep. And then your staking yield, 197,000 tokens in August, and in July it was 107,000 tokens. Fewer tokens, greater value. I love that slide.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's
Awesome.
there's opportunity in getting in early, and then you have to look at, that 197 tokens that you received in August. If you didn't sell those, now that's worth, $100 by the next year. So the $7 that you received in APY is now worth $100 by delaying the gratification on your APY also. And again, that APY is not being paid out in an inflationary asset. You don't have to worry about future APYs coming out and accessing a lack of liquidity. This is one thing I don't like about inflationary systems is the liquidity behind a product is there from people adding it or also the price appreciation, people buying that product. But if you're giving out tokens without either people adding or people actually buying those tokens, the APY is actually taking that liquidity from all the other holders of the asset that even bought. So by paying out an APY in an asset that's actually deflationary, you don't have to worry about a lack of liquidity to an increasing supply system.
Yeah.
It's very powerful, and that's why I think a lot of sustainability is going to come to the pTGC and UFO assets because they are both. They give the users the ability to earn an APY off of their investment, but that APY comes from value generation, not inflation.
Yeah. I just looked at my wallets. It must have been Monday. And I was like, wow, I've earned such and such, whatever, since January. And I hadn't done any, I'd been kind of waiting for things to move on PulseChain. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. I staked it a couple weeks ago, but I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to lock it up because I want every single pTGC token that I can acquire. And literally I'm excited for, like you were saying, to earn that yield because that yield is going to appreciate in due time, we assume. And yeah, now's the time to be stacking up the yield while the price is low. We're stacking up more yield than we will when price goes up. Okay, next slide. Let me get it here. pTGC staking yield, tracking volume. I mean, is it tracking volume? Yes, pretty much. So just don't look at
the yield and the volume are directly correlated. The yield comes from volume, right? If there's no volume, you don't get paid yield. It's as simple as that. The yield has to be generated for the user to get paid. If we're not generating the revenue, you don't get paid out, which means if you don't get paid out, you can't hurt the chart with that, right? This is the problem that I don't like with inflationary systems is if the demand isn't there, the only thing the price can do is go down because the value has to come from somewhere. If the value isn't coming from value generation, it has to come from price appreciation.
Yeah. I'm going to look at this chart, and you see in February, the February 2025, how volume exceeded staking yield. I'm not so sure about that. I'm open to your comment, but I'm going to go look at it. I'm sure I already did, but I'll take a third look.
Yeah, I don't think they're working off of the same basis. Like on the left-hand column, is that quantity of tokens or is that dollar value?
I am not sure. Actually, I can tell you. Let me have a look. I've got the slides pulled up right here.
Because if price of pTGC is rising, the quantity of tokens you will receive is less, even though volume's increasing. You know what I mean?
Volume is in dollars, of course, and then pTGC yield would be in
quantity of tokens.
Yes.
So you can decrease the quantity of tokens that you're receiving daily, but still increase volume if the price of pTGC is increasing rapidly. You get what I'm saying?
Run that by me again.
So you can have an increase of volume, which is an increase of APY in dollar value,
yes.
but it can be still a decrease in quantity of tokens if the price of pTGC is rising up massively. So there's a trade-off of price appreciation and quantity of token APY. If price comes down, you're actually earning higher quantity of tokens, but the counter is decrease of overall investment, right? So really a price deduction isn't a bad thing if volume stays relative, as long as price goes back up to the levels that you're excited about. You know what I mean? So a dip can just be an opportunity for you to just earn higher quantity of a token. As long as prices land back at where you want it and you were saving those APYs, it's actually a great opportunity to get extra funds.
Yep. Agreed. We're at slide 33. UFO yield is tracking volume. This is the same thing just with UFO. So you have UFO volume in the dark, UFO reflections in the green, UFO LP yield in the light green. Isn't that interesting? Okay. UFO reflections and LP yield in tokens per 100 million. So we saw the pTGC yield. This is UFO from August last year through August last month. And so the reflections is in dark green, and the UFO LP yield, which is in PLS, and you're looking at quantity of tokens, and that's in the light green.
So obviously in PLS or in farming you're getting paid in PLS, and UFO you're getting paid in UFO. How is that tracking? Is that because UFO is worth way less than PLS, or not way less, but almost half or whatever?
Right. That should actually be. I think that this chart should be demonstrated in value of tokens.
Yeah, maybe. I think so. Even though they are very close in price, so it's probably not too inaccurate, and they've actually varied in price. Like at one point, UFO was worth more than PLS. So I think this still creates a good illustration. I do want to say for everyone listening, keep in mind, Banana is like a day 3 staker or LP provider. So he has very early UFO shares. So what he's receiving in PLS is going to be different than someone else in today's market because he locked in very early UFO shares.
Yeah. Actually, I think this next slide might be the same thing in dollars. We'll see. There you go. There it is in dollars.
Oh, cool.
Is that cool or what? I mean, it's just like, where'd this come from?
Yeah, that's super
Tracking
cool.
every day or every month.
Yeah, I think if you LP'd in today's market, the APY is probably very similar.
Okay.
For holding and LPing. The reason why I kind of even push people to just holding nowadays is the fact that they're not going to be exposed to impermanent loss. To where in the earlier days, it made sense to kind of expose yourself because you were locking in super early UFO share rates. And I think if the ratio of PLS and UFO got really low, like let's say PLS went on a nice run and UFO kind of stayed a little bit more stagnant, I would say, hey, this is the opportunity to lock in some great UFO share rates. UFO is really cheap in comparison right now. To where if UFO starts going up against PLS again more, that opportunity to create UFO shares is going to become less and less and less, and it'll probably make more sense just to hold.
Okay. Let's see. We're slide 36, 42 in total. Just so you know, guys, here's the token distribution for pTGC and UFO, and they're both on the same slide. And that was, let's see. Yeah, I got this data fresh this morning. So we burned 12.7% of the pTGC tokens and 7.1% of UFO tokens. And then UFO and LP, like you were just referring to, is 15.8%. And then the circulating supply, 77.1% of that whole pie. I don't know. Is that confusing?
No, I think it's easy to understand.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the pTGC one is basically just a reflection of the one that's on the site, PulseTGC.com.
Yeah, which the liquidity pool is a little off on this one. I think it's closer to 3%. But overall, you can see the amount of tokens in pTGC are extremely scarce that are up for purchase. Only 3% of the supply is even able to be purchased right now. The rest of it is in pretty strong holders' hands, considering the fact that we've been out for a year and a half. A lot of the people who are holding pTGC understand pTGC. You can see 40% of the supply is actually locked. So people have made the commitment, maybe already fulfilled the commitment, but are still willing to stay within the lock, showing their commitment to the ecosystem. Super powerful.
Yeah.
If any flow of users come into PulseChain, which I think is happening soon, pTGC is one of the most scarce assets that I think that are out there compared to where they are in price today. What you can get for today, you can still get dolphin positions for, I think you said 6K or something like that, 10K, shark positions, 100K. Very quickly, it could become near impossible to get positions of that size, even for large players.
Yes. This chart here is wallet distribution in dollars. And I got this off of Snowflake Society's site. So thank you, Snowflake. Let's see. You basically have 6,300 wallets with, I think is that the less than? Yeah, it's less than $1,000. 3,333 wallets with 1,000 to 50,000, and it just goes on, with 4 wallets having greater than $5 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I look at this, I see a very large percent in that under 1K range, like, half the holders or whatever. That either means to me someone who put in a very small amount or someone who got in with, a medium amount just a little bit later in the game. And then, or people who have taken profits and kind of, just have a moon bag left over. Right. And I do think a lot of people don't realize how powerful the pTGC machine is and how many people it's actually bought out of their positions through the last year and a half. I think that's a great indicator of it. The 1K to 50K, right? obviously this is like the general holder, which makes up a very large percentage of our supply of holders, which is a great number to be in between. Right in that range is people who can change their life, actually. Like we were talking about earlier, a 10K bag can turn into a $1 million bag, and you can either take half of that, take all of it, hold it, earn APY, use it as a passive income source, as a store of value, wait for it to depreciate even more. That $1 million could turn into 10 million bucks very easily. But then we go into like those higher dollar amounts, and the numbers start to get relatively small, So seeing the majority of our holders at the lower levels, with so much price appreciation still to go, but yet we've done so much price appreciation, equals to me a very well distributed supply. And we've been working on that for almost 2 years now. A lot of new projects don't have that well distributed supply, plus the fact that we've been able to test our community, not in like a negative way, like, hey, we're going to test all you guys, but the market naturally tests people. You know what I mean? It really can figure out, okay, who's here for the long term and who's here for the short term. Well, a lot of the people who are holding decent bags, they've been tested and they've been proven to be long-term committed community members to this ecosystem. That doesn't mean they're not going to take profits. That doesn't mean they haven't taken profits. But that means that they've had the willpower and the strength to remain in the system for 2 years, or have DCA'd quite a bit in to get those positions, which is a good telltale sign to me that I think they're going to be responsible throughout this bull market. I think they're going to keep bags for multiple cycles. I think they'll be responsible with how they take profits, because we've spent so much time, Banana, educating people on what they own and what they have. And they've actually been able to see that work for 2 years and believe in it.
Yes. Here's the pTGC wallet distribution in tokens, with 310 holding 100 to 10,000 tokens, 1,160 holding 10,000 to 100,000 tokens, and so on, with the biggest proportion being in the 10 million to 100 million token range. It'll be interesting in 4 years to see how this chart looks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the 10 to 100 mil, I think 10 mil is a difficult number for some people, right? But I think it's a good goal to set. I think as a just in case bag, we always say, hey, just try to get a million. Try to get a million. I would even try to push people a little bit further, like, hey, do what you can to kind of try to work yourself into that 10 million to 100 million range. Just because I believe in the product that much, I think people are going to be happy about that decision. I know it is difficult, especially depending on incomes and where you live, etc. Obviously, each person's goal needs to be determined on their own financial situation. But set a goal that's not, setting goals that aren't easily obtainable is sometimes good.
Yes. Yeah. What do they call those? What's that? What is that kind of? There's a term for that kind of goal. We have, I think, 3 slides left. Here's UFO wallet distribution in dollars, with about 5,000 wallets holding less than $1,000, and about 1,000 holders holding $1,000 to $10,000 in UFO, and then UFO wallet distribution in tokens.
Wow, yeah, that's even better than I imagined.
Well, good.
That's why you can see on UFO's chart that it's just not really receiving any sell pressure right now. I would like to get the buy pressure up, obviously, too, because it's not seeing a crazy amount of buy pressure. And I'm going to work on that as a community leader, educating people better on UFO system. I think the revaluation of PulseChain, though, is really going to wake people up to what UFO system is. And as people wake up to UFO system, it obviously just drags pTGC up that much more. So it's a win-win situation. That's what I love about the system. It's very, very much like helping each other out in growth. As pTGC grows, UFO grows. As UFO grows, pTGC grows. But seeing this chart right now, seeing how little amount of people even hold 10 million tokens of UFO. It's just over 1,000. What's 10 million tokens cost today, Banana? I think it's really cheap.
Give me a second. I will.
And let's see what that max is. 100 million. How much is 100 million? Which that's on the higher end. I know that's out of some people's budget, but
so 10. It's a 10 million tokens is $242 right now.
Okay, so just over $3,000 gets you into that next tier, that third column. You know, I think that's a healthy goal for people. Let's increase that. It looks like there's like 500 people in that category right now. I do think those 500 people will be very stoked in getting into those positions before the revaluation of the blockchain.
You mean that middle column right there, the 100 million to 1 billion?
Yep.
That's a small column right there.
That's a small column. There's only 500 people in there.
Yeah. There's whoa.
And to get into that column, it costs roughly $3,000. That's a very low entry level to get into that center column. It's not easy, right? $3,000 is a decent chunk of money. Some people have more, some people have less. But I think that's a good goal for our community to, hey, if you're not in that column, work on getting there. You know, maybe you're on the higher end of that column. Maybe you want to get a little bit more. I do think that column in the future is going to be very difficult for anyone to get into with this valuation. So take advantage of the discounts while they're here.
Yeah. And Snowflake Society says a lot of the bigger UFO holders are in the LPs. That is absolutely true. So true. Okay, now the last two slides are interesting. This is a thought experiment that I had. So this is I don't know how to put it, but this is a representation, okay? If you were to look at pTGC's LPs in sea creature positions, look at the top one, Hex. Hex, our LP holds 0.04% of the, how am I trying to say it, of the Hex. It has a dolphin position in Hex. pTGC has a dolphin position in PulseX. It has a shark position in Teddy. Whale positions in Your Mom, X, and UFO. It's just a thought experiment, but very interesting, I think.
Definitely very interesting.
Then UFO has dolphin positions in Wrap Bitcoin and Axis, shark positions in PDI, PulseX, Pulse, Hex, Pump, Most, and Inc., and 2 whale positions, eHex and pTGC.
Super cool. Yeah, crazy that it's almost at a whale position of eHex.
Isn't it? So nobody here, let's just assume that probably nobody watching this right now can go out and buy a whale position of Hex. But we are we're riding on a machine. If you have pTGC and UFO, you know you're part of a whale position, if I may put it that way. That lit me up, man. I was pretty excited.
Yeah, even like that shark category, right? Like you're part of a conglomerate, you're part of an ecosystem where everyone's funds are getting put in a pool, an LP pool. This is an idea that's brand new to crypto, but these ideas have been done in traditional finance for a very long time. People will pool together value to get decent shares of ecosystems via companies, etc. Very, very old idea. It's just the first time that this kind of stuff has been brought to crypto, brought to blockchain finance. And that's what I think really sets pTGC and UFO apart from a lot of these other blockchains is we've kind of twisted a lot of the ideas and I think capitalized on how this stuff should function better than everything else out there. It's yet to be really seen or like tested to the high side of like how powerful this could be because we are on a blockchain that lacks a lot of the necessary features like user base, volume, price appreciation. But if that comes, I think this system could revolutionize how assets actually exist on blockchain.
Yeah.
Because we're pulling each other's assets together, not only to hold shares of those other valuable assets, but we're using those shares in a way to generate revenue and growth for our particular ecosystem, in quotes, company, Don't want to call it a company, but it generates revenue just like one, and each holder of a position is holding a share of it, and they get paid out based on that. All in code, all decentralized, all no overhead. It's very unique. I really am excited. I know I've been saying this for a year and a half now. I'm so excited for the revaluation because I have estimations of what I think this system can do in those revaluation times. I want to see it.
Yes, we all do. Yeah, I think we're going to, man. I remain optimistic. I think we're in exciting times. PulseChain, that revaluation, which we talk about, is going to happen over time. It's not an event, but it could happen over time soon. And I'm excited to see how the pTGC and UFO are going to respond to that. And it could be make all of our dreams come true. We're all here to speculate in crypto, and it could be very well, very, very exciting. But yeah, do you have any comments before we call it a show?
No, I think we're good. We've been going for a while.
Yeah. We had talking points, and we were just jabbering. We actually had. So what I'll do for next month is I will obviously update the slides and then maybe rearrange them a little bit, clean them up a little bit, but they basically look the same. We'll do this again at the end of September, and we'll see what has changed.
That'd be awesome. Hopefully prices are up by end of September.
Yeah. They'll all be up in due time, as I always say. But all right, guys, thanks for showing up. If you got value out of this, like the video and pass it around. I think other people in the community would appreciate seeing some of the data. So appreciate y'all being here. Have a great Spaces tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific. All right, guys, have a great.
Yeah, thanks for all those slides, Banana. That made a really good video, I think.
Cool.
You're hitting it the whole time. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
A lot better to have note cards to go off of than me just sitting here rambling about whatever pops in my head.
Sure. All right, man.
See ya.
We'll see you guys.